What's going on, guys? It's Groove back again with another one. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, and come on in. We're going over Bitcoin, everything divided by 21 million, and in this video we're talking about deflation and what that means with different currencies. So he starts out by saying that a crap coin is a form of currency that was only created to enrich its creators. This differs from Bitcoin because Bitcoin's creator disappeared and the coins that they have in the wallet have never moved. So when it comes to crap coins, he says they're divided into two different categories. So you have the cryptocurrencies and then you have the kleptocurrencies. So when it comes to the cryptocurrencies, he says these are the scams. These are the pump and dumps. These are all the other altcoins. The word crypto is not associated with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not crypto or cryptocurrencies. He said that these coins, they all run on their utility. They say that they can do things better than Bitcoin, or they're using the blockchain to do some type of utility, whether they move transactions faster or whatever. They just claim that they can do something better than Bitcoin, and that's why they are there. It's funny, I was having kind of a debate with somebody about, the difference between Bitcoin and these other coins. And this person was saying, he was like, I don't mess with Bitcoin. I only mess with these coins because they have a certain utility. It's like, what happens when that utility gets replaced? What happens if you've put your life savings or you've put $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 into this coin and you've got a bunch of them because it's 60 cents. And in a couple years, somebody just makes another coin that's better than that coin. Now you're holding a dead coin. And I'm just like, I just couldn't get that through my head. And this person is just, they swear off by Bitcoin. It's crazy. They apparently they've done all this research and they understand Bitcoin and they understand cryptocurrencies and blockchain and DeFi, and they're just not touching Bitcoin, and they're only messing with a few utility coins. And I just can't get it through my head, like, why you would do that. And again, I'm not here to convince this person, but I was just like, that's weird, because as soon as that utility gets replaced by another coin, now you're holding onto a whole bag of dead coins. Why would you do that, But hey, people are able to put whatever money they earn in this fiat system into whatever coin they want to. But that's what a crap coin is. It's an altcoin, it's a utility coin, it's everything besides Bitcoin. You may hear people say, oh, the blockchain. The only point of the blockchain, it's a slow database that stops Bitcoin from being double spent. If I'm sending somebody a picture online, I still have the picture, I just sent them a copy. But the blockchain stops that copy. So it takes it from me to whoever I'm giving it to. And that's the only point of the blockchain. Bitcoin is absolute scarcity, and it resides in a decentralized network. And that can never be created again. No matter how many times somebody wants to come up with another dog coin, you cannot make another Bitcoin. We've done it. And this is another thing that people don't understand. There can only be one money. There can only be the best money. That's how it is. It's a winner take all game. This is why everybody around the world wants dollars right now, because it is the best money that you can have. Nobody wants their own currency in their country. They all want dollars, or the US dollars. This is why the US will fight for its position to have that reserve currency. It's because the best money drives out everything else. There can only be one. And Bitcoin is here to take that throne. But when it comes to these crap coins, these things are centralized. They are pre-mined, like Ethereum. Again, you can put your money into whatever you want to, but morally, consciously, why would you want to buy something that was pre-mined, that is controlled by a person and a company, and they gave themselves 70% of the coins before they released the rest of the market? I don't want to put my money into something like that. Get out of here. But people are doing it all the time, and they're looking for that next one, which is just, again, it's centrally controlled. They can do with it what they want. They can control it. They can manipulate it and change it at will, and you have no say about it. And also, these crap coins, they do nothing for humanity. They do nothing for the world. They don't solve any problems. But when it comes to Bitcoin, again, going back to this chapter of deflation, Bitcoin is deflationary. It is the literal seesaw. It's the other side of the seesaw when it comes to the dollar. If you've ever looked at that house chart, in 2016, it was like 664 Bitcoin to buy a house. And then in 2020, it was like 45. And in 2024, it cost 6 Bitcoin. While you're going out there working, trying to get more dollars, to just get a house that just keeps going up and up and up in price. If you were to just save your money in Bitcoin, the price of that house goes down. The price of that next car that you want goes down. That vacation goes down. Your retirement age goes down. Bitcoin is deflationary to the current system that we live under. You know, when you get on this Bitcoin standard, it incentivizes you to save. Like, it changes your mind to be like, wait a minute, I can save my money in this and I can have more in the future. My wealth gets greater in the future. My retirement will be better in the future. It stops you from being a consumer. It changes your mind. I don't know if you guys have ever watched these TikToks of these Gen Z people today, these kids in their 20s who are just doom spending. They're like, oh, forget it. Why not? I don't have any money, so let me take that trip. Let me go on that vacation. Let me buy whatever. And now they're back down to zero. Because the money is bad, they don't understand why, but it just incentivizes you to doom spend instead of saving. Like, you can't think about the future. But if you put your money into Bitcoin, if you understand and study Bitcoin, you'll realize, hey, I can afford things in the future. I can take that trip. Again, I can retire at a lower age. I can have a friggin' family now. I wanted a family, but I just can't afford kids. But now I can afford kids now because I know in the future my wealth will grow, my money will grow, and I'll be able to afford them. It really changes your mind when you realize how deflationary Bitcoin is to this current system that we're living under right now. So when it comes to the second category of these crap coins, he talks about kleptocurrency. So what's a kleptocurrency? So he says that a kleptocurrency is the fiat monetary system, these dollars that we work for that is just created out of thin air. He talks about how, as soon as the dollar came off the gold standard in 1971, the American dollar became a crap coin at that point. Like, we're working for this money that can just be printed out of thin air. And the whole point of it is to be funneled from the masses, from me and you, to a small group of people at the top. That's the whole point of this fiat monetary system we live under right now, is to just tax the slaves and just take all their money, and we can have it, and we can get all the wealth, and we can have all the assets, and they'll be left with nothing. That's the whole point of the fiat system. But if you've studied, if you've paid attention, you'll know that Bitcoin is that relief valve. Bitcoin is that life raft. If the fiat system is the Titanic, Bitcoin is the life raft. And everybody right now on the Titanic is trying to worry about where to hide because it's about to hit this iceberg. Again, you can't afford food. You can't afford clothes. You can't afford to go on trips. You can't afford to buy that house. Everything is just out of reach. And so everybody's just running around on the Titanic trying to figure out where they can hide or where they can put their money that's going to make them money so they can become wealthy in the future to be able to afford these things. And Bitcoin is just like, hey, I'm a life raft. I'm over here, but it's like nobody outside is really paying attention to the life raft that is Bitcoin. Going back to this kleptocurrency, which we live under right now, these dollars, it's so funny because printing more of them doesn't solve the issue. You can't get more value from printing more dollars. When you have a presidential candidate right now saying they're going to give people $50,000 to start small businesses, or they're going to give people $25,000 of free money to go get a house, it's not solving the issue. It's not creating more value. First of all, those people that you're giving that money to for those houses, the people selling are just going to raise the price by $25,000. Like, it doesn't solve anything. It's kind of like a pizza pie. If you cut the pie into 8 slices and you eat 2 of them and you're like, oh man, I'm full. And then the person cuts the same pie into 16 slices and gives you 2 and you're like, I'm not full anymore. And they're like, well, you got the same 2 slices as before. Printing more money doesn't solve the issue of the value of that currency. So then he goes on to say that you want to stay away from these cryptocurrencies and you want to try to get out of this kleptocurrency, which is the dollar. He says Bitcoin is that life raft. And that's all we're trying to do anyway. Like, but where can I store my wealth so I'll have more of it in the future? And once you realize it's Bitcoin, after you've put in that study time, you start to realize it's better than everything else. Like, Bitcoin over the last 15 years, on average, has gotten 50% gain every year. That beats the stock market, so why would you put your money in there? It beats real estate. The average person can't even buy one house today. How are you supposed to get 20 or 30 of them to really like boost your wealth? And you see people today, instead of just trying to get a raise at their job, everybody wants to be a day trader today. Like, oh, I need to day trade. How do you day trade? And they know the system, there's something wrong. They just can't put their finger on it. They darn sure don't know that Bitcoin is that way out for a majority of people. So then he just says to make sure you're staying away from these crap currencies these altcoins, or even, you know, these kleptocurrencies, your current dollars. If you're just saving in dollars, you need to stop that. There really is no alternative. Like, Bitcoin is the choice. When you study this thing, when you understand, like, it's Bitcoin or nothing. Now, some people may say, oh, I'll just put my money into the S&P 500. Stocks don't work anymore because it's connected to the dollar. Real estate doesn't work anymore. People can barely afford one house. Like, how are you going to build wealth getting 3 or 4 or 5 of them? You can barely get one today. So there really is no other asset that you want to put your money into except Bitcoin. And you know that once you do this, everything is just going to get cheaper over time. And this is how Bitcoin is deflationary to the entire world. It's when you realize that, it's like, I got to get as much of this as I can. But again, you got to study to really realize this. But until you do realize this, until you do study, everybody will just keep continuously playing with these fiat currencies as they get, you know, inflated away, as more dollars come into the system. And over time, you're just going to keep getting more poor and poorer and poorer. Even if you're getting raises at your job, you're just continuously become more of a slave because you didn't want to go down this deflationary route of buying Bitcoin, and you just stayed with dollars, which just keep getting inflated away. And that's it for this chapter, talking about deflation and how Bitcoin solves that. You know, if you're saving your money in Bitcoin, everything gets cheaper in the future. Whereas if you're just continuously saving in this fiat system that we're living under right now, everything is just going to get more expensive. And again, how Bitcoin solves that. So go ahead and hit a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.